If you were scared by that, I'm reporting you to HR. I'm sending you to sensitivity training. And the only way to get out of it is cash apping me $20. That's how I determine if someone is bigoted or not, by the way, is if they personally give me money. That's it. That's the only criteria. Nepo babies, you've heard of them. You probably like some of them and you hate a lot of them. This is the thing about nepotism, okay? It personally doesn't irritate me that much because I'm not competing with any of these people in any fields. I don't have any stakes in this game. Usually the rule is if you're actually talented, people don't care. Listen, half the industry practically falls under this category. I only have a finite amount of frustration and righteous anger. Sometimes I just want to watch an A24 movie. I don't care that both the parents of the main actors have their own Wikipedia pages. And because I am the only person on the internet that has valid opinions, I mean, look at me, I talk in monotone and I'm wearing a black turtleneck. That means all of my opinions are valid and final. I look like a guidance counselor who you know does not care about you. Matter of fact, I bring you up when I'm drunk with my friends. We make fun of you. You walk into my office and all you hear is, let me call you back, Sheila. The kid with the lisp is back. This is my tier ranking, okay? We got F tier, which is just be glad you're invited to the party. Then we have E tier. You know what? Maybe give them some time to cook. I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing right now, but maybe they have potential for not greatness, but at least for a slightly less irritating version of mediocrity. D tier. I am truly neutral. I'm so indifferent towards this person, they might as well be like a mannequin or a lamp. C tier. You can stay. I'm warming up to you. B tier. If you won an award, I'd clap. Not aggressively. I'd give a few little snaps, a few death claps. No, those are just jazz hands. A tier, you get a big thumbs up from Papa. Basically, I really just can't hate on you. Like, I actually legitimately like you. An S tier, you deserve your success. Truly talented, I don't actually care that you got that gig because of who your dad is. Or sometimes because of who your mom is. Women, we're making it in this world. See, now, we might be the ones that have enough career success to lift up our frankly undeserving children. The next and final step for feminism should be allowing me specifically to park in the handicap spot when I'm menstruating. Sorry, illiterate girls in villages, your rights can wait. First up, we got Timothee Chalamet, who is kind of a diet Nepo baby. I mean, his mom is a Broadway actress and she was also a dancer. She has some connections in the industry. His uncle was also a director, but like lower level, like he was doing episodes of TV and stuff. You know, he wasn't A-list or anything, but that still would have allowed him to maybe get some connections, maybe get his foot in the door, and that is arguably the hardest part. Timothée Chalamet, he has such an aggressively French name, but it doesn't piss me off. And I think that's because he has the vibe of like a little like New York City hobbit man. Despite the fact that I think he is actually fairly tall, he's very slender, he looks like he's made out of porcelain. I've said this many times before, but if I saw Timothée Chalamet in real life, I would want to like break his neck like he's a little baby bird and just like drink out the bone marrow. You know, I think it'd be sweet. I think it would taste like Kool-Aid powder. Does that have anything to do with his talents? No. He's a talented actor. I think so. He's aggressively trying to get an Oscar, and I think, you know what, in the next few years, he's gonna be able to campaign his way to it. Interesting jaw, very interesting chin. I wanna flick it. I don't know what it is about this person. He brings out a very interesting sort of aggression in me. Not desire per se, but like I wanna break him. Not in a sensual way, just in a standard like sort of violent way. I don't know what it is. I think if I was to come up to him in person, he'd probably sense like the bloodthirst in my eyes and he'd not even run away from me. I think he would just let the wind sort of carrying him away like he's a little feather. I think I'm gonna put him at, you know what? Maybe C tier. I like him, but not an insane amount. No offense, Mr. Timothée. I'm saying that like he cares. He's busy cozying up to an attractive woman at a Knicks game. Like he cares what me and my big forehead has to say. I'm putting him in C tier. Up next, we got Emma Roberts. Emma Roberts is the niece of Julia Roberts. Famous, lovely actress, great smile, megawatt smile. She can chomp at you through the camera. And I like that. I like that she kept her original teeth. She did not get veneers, and it makes her more beautiful. Her dad, I think, is also a producer of some sort. I remember her initially from being on that Nickelodeon show on Fabulous. Many of you probably have forgotten about it because it wasn't very good. But I distinctly remember that one of her quirks was that she would like write little songs on her guitar about the various like problems that she was facing in that episode. And she was obsessed with this like Polynesian boy named Jake Bahari. And she'd sing about like wanting a boyfriend, but she wasn't particularly good. But she at least had the decency of only playing that music mostly in her room. Which is what I would tell my child if they were not musically talented. I would say don't do that in public. That reflects poorly on the family. And my mother overheard her singing about like Jeke Bahari, I want you to be my boyfriend. And she wants a boyfriend at that age. She's the real loser. I don't know why that memory is burned into my mind. I don't remember anything from like the 12 years of math class that I took besides basic arithmetic, but I have that distinct memory of my mom shading Emma Roberts burned into my hippocampus. I like when she plays characters that are like mean girls, like in American Horror Story or Scream Queens. She's also very small, and I know that I would be able to take her in a fight, and And that does make me lose a little bit of respect for her. I'm gonna put her, you know what, D tier. From what I've seen of her, I don't hate her. I think she's an okay actress. Sophia and Nicole Richie, who are Lionel Richie's daughters. I think Nicole actually might be an adopted daughter, but she was still reaping the benefits of that dancing on the ceiling money. Sophia Richie is now like an influencer. I kept seeing her name pop up when it came to like soft luxury. This is what happens when you're rich, but you're still elegant. Sophia Richie isn't just rich. Okay, she has class. The Kardashians could never. And I think the bar is so astronomically low for what y'all will gas up when a rich person who's attractive does it. I mentioned this in my reacting to rich talk video. If you are a rich and attractive person, all you have to do is just not be a psychopath, and you will have people making whole fan fictions about you. Okay, all you gotta do is like sleek your hair back in like a very greasy, tiny little bun, wear clear lip gloss and have full eyebrows, and people will be literally at your feet, kissing your toes, telling you that you are the reincarnation of Aphrodite. That being said, I kind of like her. This is the thing, I'm not envious towards people like this, you know, because I know that like we're both equally beautiful, and like one day I will be just as wealthy as her. So, you know, it's just like looking at me in the future. Yeah. And you know what? The only thing that's keeping me going forward is my delusion. So don't correct me. I'm gonna put Sophia Richie at like a D tier. I truly am indifferent towards her. I don't wish ill on her. She's married now. She's booed up. Unlike a lot of y'all. I'm also single. Sophia Richie also does have the vibe of like a woman who only snacks on like sliced cucumber. Like you go into her house and you're like, I'm kind of hungry. And she goes, oh, okay, let me get you something. And she just gives you like lukewarm water with like a little piece of ice. And for some reason you drink it and it's like, wait a minute, why am I kind of full? Is this what the life of rich skinny people is like? And she goes, you have no idea. There's so many secrets to this world, and I'm gonna show it to you. And then she just like hits you over the head with a shovel and kills you. I don't know why how that specific fantasy ended. Okay, I'm gonna conclude this section by saying I believe that Sophia Richie could realistically kill someone, and she'd probably enjoy it. I think she has. Regarding Nicole, I actually like Nicole. I think she's kind of funny. Once again, I like people who have like similar heights to me. She's mousy, she's scrappy, you know what I mean? Like if we were to get into an altercation, I know that she'd fight dirty. I know that she'd bring out like a rusty razor blade to inflict maximum damage. She knows, okay, she's been to jail, but she hasn't been to prison. But if she were to get dropped to maximum security, weirdly enough, I think she actually might thrive. Or she would be a goner in the first 24 hours. Those are the only two options for Nicole Richie. I also think that she would eat breadsticks like this, like an actual rodent, like a hamster. Regardless, I like her. I'm putting her in C tier. Okay, we got Nick Cage, who is the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola. Nick Cage is a Coppola. Isn't it insane how incestuous this industry is? Astonishing. I like Nick Cage as an actor. I mean, he's a little loopy, but his most cringy roles are easily his most iconic. He's a great screamer. That Yakubian has some lungs on him. He can really screech. He's very irresponsible with his money, weirdly enough, because I think he was legit out here buying like golden sarcophaguses and stuff. Sarcophagi? It doesn't matter. Grammar is fake. Now that I'm thinking about it, it actually might make sense why he was taking on some of those terrible gigs. I have a feeling that Nicolas Cage has already bought the urn that he wants to be put in when he's cremated. And he has it on his mantelpiece, like he's prepared. And it is gaudy. It is ostentatious. It's something that you would find in like Donald Trump's penthouse apartment. See, I don't know. I would put him in B tier. I think he is a talented performer, but he's so hit or miss. I guess it would depend on what the performance is. You know what? Sorry, Nick Cage. You haven't really wowed me in a hot minute. I did enjoy when he was running around Brooklyn screaming, I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire. I don't remember what the title of that film was. Very interesting hairline. I think receding hairlines in men and when they're balding is quite fascinating. And if we were dating and I got angry with him, like every night I would pluck a few out. Like strategically, I would pluck out a few and I'd keep them in a collection. And then he would slowly start to go mad. He said, how is it that I'm losing this many hairs on such a regular level? And I'd be in the corner snickering. I'm assuming like probably the container that I would usually put my retainer in, that's where I'd store the secret hairs. And eventually once I got enough, I'd make a little doll out of him. Not to do like voodoo with, but just, to have. And then when we inevitably broke up, I would just place it atop the pillow where I would normally be sleeping. And I'd leave in the middle of the night and he'd wake up, he'd roll over and he would just see a little miniature version of himself made out of his own hair. I can see why I'm single. Anyway, Nick Cage. I'm putting him on C tier. The Hadids, Bella and Gigi. What is her real name? Georgina? I'm afraid to ask. So, I like these girls. I do. They seem like sweeties. I guess they are technically Nepo babies. Their mother is a model, but I would say that they fall more into the category of like, their dad was so loaded that he was able to support them in their modeling career in a way that most other models wouldn't have been able to at least have been given that sort of financial safety net. Plus, their mom was like a housewife, and so I guess that gave them a little bit of publicity. You know what? I still think they count as Nepo babies, right? I think the thing is, I understand that certain people get frustrated when kids from this kind of background get stuff handed to them, especially in modeling, where there has been an emergence of Nepo babies taking over. However, as a person who does not like the modeling industry and finds it very inherently predatory, it's mixed when I hear people talking about like inclusion in modeling, because it's like, sure, having a more diverse array of models being able to get gigs is not inherently a bad thing, but it's also like, is this the industry that I want like young black and brown girls to get integrated into? You know what I mean? Do I want us to be integrated into a burning school? I think that was a Martin Luther King quote, and he was talking about Versace. But let's be real, in the modeling industry, they don't care. If you show up, you are the correct measurements, you have the look, you are the right height, you're young, you're vulnerable, you know what I mean? You're willing to do conspicuously adult shoots even though you're a minor. You see what I mean when I say it's a predatory industry? They don't care. The entertainment industry has never been a meritocracy. That's why the sheer abundance of Nepo babies is not surprising. And it's true for virtually every industry. Finance is obviously like this, business is like this. Dang near every single industry. A lot of people are getting jobs because they know someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone's dad. I like them as models. Gigi has a, you know, a girl next door quality, very sunshine. I know she smells good, like naturally, you know what I mean? If I was to walk by her, I'd give a big whiff. And I'd say, Gigi, you smell so good. And she's like, you're not allowed within 100 feet of me. Like, do you want me to bring out the paperwork? And then I'd like gallop away on all fours. So I would put her at, so I guess I'd put her on C tier. Yeah. I think Gigi goes on C tier. Now Bella, I am a little conflicted because she has been touched by an angel. You know what I mean? And in an industry that's all about aesthetics, it's strange when a person has gotten such extensive cosmetic surgery that like, are we complimenting the person or their surgeon? And she looks great, do not get me wrong. And of all the people who I'm sympathetic towards for having gotten nipped and tucked, let me say, I know for a fact, if I was in Bella Hadid's shoes and I was able to get my nose done at like 14, my parents allowed that to happen, the amount of kids who 100% would have gotten those procedures if they had the money and their parents were, I guess, superficial enough to let them do it, to let them chisel away their ancestry. And you know why I'm sympathetic towards her? Could you imagine growing up? I guarantee you, this was something that people were saying to Bella's face on numerous occasions. Oh, you're Gigi's sister? Oh, really? Huh, that's, yeah, no, I can see it, like your eyes, it's just that Gigi, like, she looks so much like your mom. Yeah, like your mom's really, really pretty. Yeah, and Gigi looks like a lot like her, and I think you kind of look like your dad, you know? Yeah, I just like didn't think you guys were like sisters or anything, because like Gigi's like so pretty, right? And some of you might be getting PTSD flashbacks from a moment like that in your childhood. I have witnessed moments like this between siblings that like, one of them was not ugly by any means, but one of them was just like extraordinarily attractive, and people would flat out say the most backhanded things to them in front of the other sibling. And you know, that happens enough times and enough adults say that to you, whew, I would have been in that surgeon's chair too. I can't even judge her. But I think she's genuinely a good model. Like, I'll see her, you know, in shoots. She got the face, she has the attitude, she has that je ne sais quoi. I like her. There are awards for models, right? Yeah, there are. All right, I'm putting her in B tier. Lily Rose Depp, who is the daughter of Johnny Depp, and her mother is like a French model and singer. And she's got like a very chic Parisian tooth gap. And you know, she like squirts like San Pellegrino out of it, you know, like a little fountain. I think Lily actually is a good actress. You know, I saw her like tweaking out a Nosferatu. It's just so beautiful when you can finally like relate to an actual character in cinema. Before it was just Pearl and Ma from the Octavia Spencer film Ma. People wondered, who is this movie for? Who are the demographics that this film was made for? And the answer is me. The movie was made for me. Phenomenal cheekbones. I mean, like little apples. I want to say suck on them, but again, not in a sensual way. Do you see what I mean? I don't know how to like talk about people who are conventionally attractive without sounding like a freak. Like I need to be tased, but I don't mean it to be in a way that's violating. It's just, that's just where my brain goes. It's so hard being a genius. It's so hard. I think this hair is actually doing something to me. I think it's actually possessed me. I thought her performance in that Gooner Fest that was The Idol, oh my gosh, it was not a good series. But I think she had her moments where I was like, oh, she actually does have some acting chops. So far, I don't think she's ever been in anything that like really wowed me. I'm fairly certain that she'll probably have a project like that coming up in the works. I think she's a good actress. You know what? I think I like her enough as an actress. I might put her in B tier. Angelina Jolie, who is John Voight's daughter. I was so confused when I saw this, and I was like, really? If you ever saw Lara Croft and you saw the actor who was playing her dad, or if you've seen that one movie about like talking babies, he's in it. I mean, he's also in other like critically acclaimed films. But the first project I think I ever saw him in was the Bratz live action film from 2007. Oh, where he played the principal and the dad of like the mean girl who was played by like Chelsea Peretti, who looks like, and I mean this in like the nicest way possible, she kind of looks like a snatched Cabbage Patch Kid, you know what I mean? Because she's thin, but she has like a full, very youthful face. Very adorable. You see what I mean? I can't even describe a person without it sounding like I'm trying to insult them, but I'm not. Anyway, Angelina Jolie. I like her as an actress. I liked her in Girl Interrupted. My gosh, you know how beautiful you have to be to have bangs this atrocious? This is like a person who's engaging in like leftist discourse on Twitter level bangs, right? And you're still beautiful. Oh! And I think she's a good actress. Her and Brad Pitt I will never get the bad taste out of my mouth for what they both did to poor Jennifer Aniston. Mostly Brad Pitt, actually. Angelina got way more flack for that. And Brad, he's the guiltier party here. I like her humanitarian work. She was one of those celebs that was like adopting like little brown babies. And she got one from Ethiopia. It wasn't me. It's mainly because I had like a loving family that actually wanted me, which sucks, but I could have had a fat trust fund in a beach house in Malibu, but all I got was a family that loved me and wanted me. I mean, what's worth more? She has acting chops. Some of her projects are very hit or miss. Her magnum opus obviously being Kung Fu Panda. I don't think she'll ever be able to top that, but I think she's a talented woman. I'd put her in B tier. Up next, Zoe Kravitz. You want to talk about a family that has phenomenal bone structure. This is not fair. And I know they all subsist on like bananas and cigarettes. I'm so jealous. And they all smell like vanilla and incense. They're constantly just like lighting candles. I enjoy Zoe Kravitz. I don't think that she's ever been in a project that was like really wowed me, but her performances are always solid. Also, once again, I'm biased. I'm always going to support my little short kings and queens in Hollywood, which by the way is all of them. Everyone in Hollywood is 5'3". That's a secret they don't want you to know, okay? It's Munchkin land out there. But Zoe is petite, and I know that's completely arbitrary and has nothing to do with her acting performances, but this is my list, okay? I like you, Zoe. I'm pissed off that in the new Batman film where you're Catwoman, they give you that weird, like, cat ear balaclava, and they just didn't put cat ears on the motorcycle helmet. It was right there. I'm gonna put her in C tier. Gracie Abrams. Gracie Abrams is J.J. Abrams' daughter. I did not know this until I was, like, looking up lists of Nepo babies because I could only name so many at the top of my head. J.J. Abrams, the director, the J.J. Abrams, the guy who did Star Trek. Gracie Abrams is his daughter? Oh my gosh. I don't like this. And now it's cross-contamination because she's a musician. And I do like her as a musician. I do. I've not listened to her entire discography, but honestly, if I like one song and I like it enough to put it on my liked playlist and listen to it like 10 times until eventually I exhaust myself of it, I will like you as a musician. I like that she has like a kind of a light tooth gap and she also is shredded. Again, does this have anything to do with her musical ability? No. I'm sorry that I like women who are strong. I'm sorry that I like women who take care of themselves. Why are you such a misogynist? I like her as a musician. I don't know if she's done anything that really has wowed me, but then again, she is a relatively newcomer to the industry. She's only really been in it for a few years, so you know what? I'm gonna give her some time to cook. I'm gonna give her some time to like really prove herself as an artiste, you know? Georgia May Jagger, who is the daughter of Bianca Jagger and Jerry Hall. The only reason that I put her on this list is because I remember her from those Get the London Look. Like those, I think they're Maybelline or maybe L'Oreal. For that alone, I gotta give her at least D tier. Like, I can't hate her. I don't know anything else that she has done, but Get the London Look. I mean, it's iconic. So I gotta give her at least neutral. It's also because I respect people in the industry who keep their original teeth. Lily Moss. She is Kate Moss's daughter. Kate Moss, obviously, the very famous 90s model who was quite controversial, I suppose, was the poster girl for rather controversial, you know, heroin chic, svelte obsession with being wayfish. I'm not gonna hold Kate Moss responsible for that specific trend. She's reproduced successfully at least twice. And Lily Grace is a daughter, again, goes into modeling. I think that's kind of what you do when you're like pretty, but you don't really want or know how to do much else. No, actually, was that supposed, maybe that was actually me being shady. Maybe that was a little too petty. Am I wrong though? Am I? And the ones that genuinely have like maybe some singing or acting chops, usually they just go into that. Sometimes, acting wise, there was that Victoria's Secret model who was in the new Superman movie, and I was like, she looks so familiar. Where is she from? She was a Victoria's Secret model, and she killed it. She absolutely killed it in that movie, and I went, you know what? Good for her. When I see a model transition into acting, I'm like, that's how you do it. You knock it out of the park. but you're still kind of glam. This time around, I think she just went into modeling because, well, what else are you gonna do? This is nothing against her personally. She seems like a sweet girl. I mean, does she have the look to be in the industry? I don't know. I mean, Vogue's like doing, you know, videos following her around for the day. And I gotta agree with a lot of the people here. Like, nothing against her personally. She seems like a nice girl. But let's be real. You got the gig because your mom is Kate Moss. And you know what? I might put her in E tier here. For me to put you in F tier, you actually have to do something that would annoy me, or you have to genuinely be like so undeserving of your position that it's somewhat irritating. I don't really feel that way towards Lily. I would say maybe put her in E tier. Maybe she might wow us with maybe not modeling, but something, you know what I mean? Can she sew? Can she do a high kick? Can she do a split? I'm gonna put her in E tier. Robert Downey Jr., father Downey Sr. was a director, a fairly like a successful one. So he is one of those like older Nepo babies. He's an okay actor. I think actually, I would say he's a talented actor. I've never been like a crazy fan of anything that he's done. And I would say that's mainly because besides the Charlie Chaplin like biopic that he did in the early 90s, he kind of plays the same character in every movie. He's like kind of snarky and he's always like one-upping the person and he's witty and he's like handsome. And I, you know what? I'm biased because the character of Iron Man was such a wish fulfillment character for dorks. I couldn't stand it. I was like, he has to, in the first film, he was actually flawed, right? Like he was a weapons manufacturer for heaven's sake. He had blood on his hands. And I thought like that could have been interesting to actually make him, to keep him a morally great character. And then eventually he just became like the person that like nerds would live vicariously through. And I get it. He played that role well. He played it with charisma. He played it, you know, with, I was gonna say gravitas. I don't think that's the correct usage of that word. But I'd like to see him do something that's completely out of left field. Like, I mean, truly take on a character that is so different from anything that he's ever done. Look, he was a full-blown addict, managed to drag himself out of that, which once again, when you have money and you go down that dark path, that gets to be an inspirational story. When you're poor and you don't have connections, you just stay in prison. But I'm not gonna put the weight of classism and economic injustice on Robert Downey Jr.'s shoulders, okay? I'm gonna put him in C tier. Drew Barrymore. Hey guys, it's Drew. I was mediocre. Listen, the only impression I can actually do pretty good is Jennifer Coolidge, okay? Oh gosh, yeah. You look like the 4th of July. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. Drew Barrymore comes from a weird industry family, but mostly her paternal lineage, a lot of directors, a lot of actors. Absolutely adorable in E.T. I think that she's a fairly good actress. Again, I don't think I've seen her in something that has like really, absolutely blown me away, but she has a charm to her. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people remain famous because they're likable. They're not necessarily the most talented performer per se. Like they'll have solid performances, but you just like them. You just like them and you respect the fact. I mean, she was in rehab at like 12 years old, and the fact that she's still alive is miraculous. So props to her. I have respect for her for that. Kind of in the same boat as Robert Downey Jr. in that regard. And now she's like has a talk show where she like puts contour on people's faces and like trauma bonds with them, and she cries a lot wearing interesting patterns. And I'm happy for her, you know? I'm glad that she found her peace. In terms of her performances though, I might put her at maybe C tier. Ben Platt. If you're a musical theater nerd, you'll know who this person is. He has a father who is a pretty well-known producer of, well, not just musical theater, but producing generally. He rose to prominence for Dear Evan Hansen, which is a musical that I remember because when I was a freshman at NYU, there was a freshman orientation like exercise or whatever, where somebody began to sing a few lines from one of the songs in that musical. And when I tell you, I was surrounded by mostly Tisch kids. I was not in Tisch. Let me just clarify that. I was in another school that I will not name. Everyone stood up and began, and I mean, this is like a throwaway few lines. Like, I don't think that she was, I don't think the person who was on stage was like asking for participants. When I say it was a pretty small auditorium, everyone around me stood up and began singing that song. They knew every line. Some of them had choreography. I was so terrified. I did not know what was going on. I had never experienced something like this. I felt claustrophobic. I said, how is this? I mean, this wasn't even coordinated. That is what's so terrifying about this breed of child. Is this Ben Platt's fault? You know what? Yes, actually, I'm gonna blame him for this. A lot of controversy because his dad was the producer of Dear Evan Hansen, which is his star vehicle, and also the producer of the film that starred him, despite him clearly not looking young enough to convincingly play like a 16 or 17-year-old. And this did rub a lot of people the wrong way. Understandably so. I remember him because he was in Pitch Perfect back in 2012, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I remember that little curly-haired cutie. He liked to do close-up magic, and I said, you know what, I'll forgive that. It's not a valid hobby like carjacking or arson or quilting, but it's fine, you know, whatever keeps your hands off the pipe. So I would not go as far as to say that he is untalented. He's not my cup of tea. Musical theater generally is not my cup of tea. I can understand the criticism towards him. You know what, weirdly enough, I'm kind of neutral. I can't bring myself to hate him, but I can't bring myself to really like him, you know? Brooklyn Beckham, who is the son of Victoria and David Beckham, who's the only white man I've ever seen not look horrible in cornrows. That goes to show you how far good bone structure can get you. That sunburnt scalp. Oof. So Brooklyn was one of those rich kids that sort of hopped around from profession to profession, was a photographer, now he's trying to be a chef. I don't think he was particularly good at anything that he tried, and at a certain point I think people can get exhausted because it really becomes a reflection of like how a lot of these kids can just afford to repeatedly fail, not even upwards. I think he's sort of failing laterally. I don't have any ill feelings towards him. I don't know him. I've never met him. Weird. I actually have never heard this boy speak, so I can't really bring myself to hate him. But listen, boy, you gotta come up with something that you're genuinely exceptional at. And here's the thing about this. I root for a lot of these people. I don't like reveling in their failure. What does that get me? I don't like seeing people not succeed, even if they had a lot handed to them. So he could surprise me, but right now, I gotta put him in F tier. I'm saying that like he's watching this. Sorry, Brooklyn. I know that you're in your extravagant New York City apartment, being like hand-fed expensive sushi by your beautiful wife, but this YouTube flop is putting you in F tier. See, I don't even feel that bad about it now. Kendall Jenner. I'm not as warm towards her as the Hadids. And this is how you can really tell that likability, it's so arbitrary. She comes from a more controversial family. I think she's okay. I think she's very pretty, and that's even before she definitely got some tweaks, but here's the thing. She still looks good. I'm not a fan of plastic surgery, but like, you can't tell me that she's still not gorgeous, you know what I mean? People were angry that she was able to get handed a modeling career, but again, she showed up, she could fit into the clothes, she had the bone structure, she had the connections, she had enough clout to get some of those shows like a little bit more attention. Is it unfair? Absolutely. Is a lot of her success unearned? Duh. But the thing about modeling is like, I understand that there was like that fantasy that if you were just like the hottest person in like some small town in Indiana where half the kids are like inexplicably dyslexic, and a casting agent who happens to be like in town because they're visiting their family that they detest looks at you like shining in all your glory, like working at like a Wetzel's Pretzels, and they hand you a card and say, you're too good for this town. Your bone structure deserves to be put on magazines. And then you get like a fabulous career and like, you know, a light cocaine problem, and then you become trophy wife number 2 to some zillionaire, right? That's the trajectory. Or better yet, you become a CEO of like some random health and wellness brand, which consists mostly of like pouring various like multivitamin powders into water and then shaking it aggressively while on your way to yoga lattes. That was the fantasy, that was the dream, the idea that like you could be a young, beautiful person from anywhere with no connections, with no money, and then be catapulted into superstardom, which is already a very like rose-tinted view of the modeling world to begin with. But at least there was a democratic aspect to it, right? A lot of supermodels did not come from those kinds of ritzy backgrounds. And if you are a young girl who also doesn't come from a ritzy background, I guess it's aspirational. I can understand that aspect of the fantasy. And Kendall Jenner is a reminder that like, no, actually, having connections and a wealthy family and a sister that's world famous for her posterior is actually what gets you gigs in this modern day and age. I can't bring myself to really feel genuine animosity for Miss Kendall. She has limbs that are quite gangly, but I like that. I want to sort of like flick her wrist, you know what I mean? Like the way you would those like skeleton mannequins that were in your health class, and then they would accidentally sort of like shatter, and the bones would like sort of kind of tumble in on themselves. I feel like that's what would happen if I like knocked into Kendall Jenner. I think she would like disintegrate. Anyway, but I don't know if I would exactly say I'm a fan of her as a model. I don't think she has that je ne sais quoi, but I don't hate her. D might be a little too high, F might be a little too low, but E tier is like, I don't know if I would give her time to cook makes any sense, because like, what is she cooking up? I don't think she has any projects in the works that are gonna wow me. Sorry, Kendi, I might have to put you in F. Again, she's coming back from like a shopping trip on Rodeo Drive where she's buying clothes that are more expensive than all of my assets and savings combined. I think she'll be okay. She's on her way to get like a facial treatment where they put like shark embryos on your face, and she's like 10% body fat. I think she's okay. Liv Tyler, who is the daughter of Steven Tyler, who is the lead singer of Aerosmith, Rockstar Baby. Now, Now, I am a Lord of the Rings fan, and she played Arwen in the film's Elven Princess, and she's so, like, ethereal and elegant. Her and Cate Blanchett with such great casting. They're so gorgeous in, like, an otherworldly kind of way. Like, Cate Blanchett is very sharp, but Liv Tyler is smoother. You know, she's a Philadelphia cream cheese. And Cate Blanchett is the Ritz cracker. She also has a very comforting and soft presence. Like, I've also seen her Architectural Digest home. It's like a Brooklyn townhouse that she renovated. I genuinely do really like it. It was a gorgeous home. And you can tell she's such, like, an attentive mother. I'm saying all of this, I don't know this woman, but I do like her. I think she's a good actress. Again, it's one of those things where, like, I only have seen her in a handful of things, but I liked her in those things. But they were not like, wow, this is, like, truly a phenomenal top-tier performance kind of thing. You know what? I like her enough. I think I might put her on B tier. Scott Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's son. He has several children. I mean, he has that, like, squinty-eyed sort of dusty handsomeness. Does that make any sense? It's like they kind of always look like they have some dust sprinkled on their face. That might just be sun damage or freckles. I'm not that intimately familiar with, like, Yakubian skin, but there's something kind of leathery about them. They kind of look like a boot, and they always look like they're parched. Like, I just want to hand him a cup of water. I've seen him in a few things. He's an okay actor. Like, this is the thing. I've never seen him in, like, a true star vehicle. I'm just kind of aware of his existence, but I know that he's not a bad actor, so I'm gonna put him, you know what, I'm gonna put him in E tier. Let him cook a little bit. Amelia Hamlin. So, she is a model. She's the daughter of Lisa Rinna, who is responsible for she's not responsible for, but she is the subject of the Lisa Rinna Eminem meme, which is so stupid. It is so asinine, and I love it dearly. It makes me laugh every single time, because it does look exactly like her. Lisa Rinna was one of the housewives of Beverly Hills, and her dad is an actor of some sort. She was really pushing her daughters to be in modeling, because I guess she was like, Yolanda's daughters are modeling. My daughters have to be modeling too. Lisa Rinna is interesting. She is like a glamorous Pez dispenser. I feel like if I pushed her over, she would smack the ground so quickly. You know what I mean? I don't know why I'm so aggressive. Daughter Amelia was a pretty girl to begin with. She was a pretty girl. Got quite extensive cosmetic procedures and I'm not kidding when I say that I saw a recent video of her from like the past 2 years. I fully thought that was Gabriette, the model, who is also weirdly from Southern California. This woman, Gabriette, she's from Orange County. Is that not so strange? She looks like the kind of woman who has never not only seen the sun, I feel like if you push her out into sunlight, she'd recoil. Who's gotten work that looks conspicuously like Gabriette. I don't know if this was intentional or because all of the procedures that she was getting were like what a lot of other people were getting, and she had the baseline bone structure where she just ended up kind of looking like her. Sort of like Bella Hadid ended up looking like Carla Bruni, but I don't know if that was really intentional. Anyway, it freaked a lot of people out. She's an okay model. I don't know. I don't think she got that je ne sais quoi to her. Sometimes I will see videos of her that like Vogue or some of these other publications put out, and the comments are so brutal. People do not like this girl. I think this is what happens when you are a Nepo baby, but you don't have like the chops to at least get people to like you in terms of your personality or in terms of your skill set. And people's patience is real short. You add that, the weird sort of doppelganger facial transformation, and I think that really pushed it over the tipping point. So I don't know. I might have to give her an F. It ain't personal, but yeah, just be glad you're invited to the party. If I was in her position, I wouldn't even be complaining. I would take the gigs and I would go home. Gwyneth Paltrow. So she is the daughter of Blythe Daniels, and her dad was a successful producer. I had to redo that line successful 5 times. I don't know why. I couldn't pronounce it properly. This is, again, one of those moments where I was like, wait a minute, that's her mother? It all makes sense now. I think Gwyneth Paltrow is an okay actress. I don't think she's terrible, but I don't think she's phenomenal. That Oscar win was also a little confusing for me. She is very glamorous. I do like the fact that she has now transitioned into just becoming like a fully psychotic, new age, ultra rich, bougie health and wellness guru. I love it. I think if anything, that's the role she was born to play. It fits her so well. And you know what? It's like she gets so much flack and hate, and a lot of her products are complete nonsense, but she's in such an insane bubble. It's almost like I'm envious of her because she seems genuinely content. I'm jealous. I'm actually jealous. This is what I mean when I say sometimes you reach a level of delusion where it actually doesn't matter. The fact that people dislike you, the fact that she was in that weird like lawsuit where like, let's be real, that man was trying to get money out of her. But she don't care. She don't care. She is in that little delusional bubble. You think that people making like video essays about her and exposing the scammery that is going on in Goop, you think she cares? No, she's in a bubble bath. right now. It's lavender, and she's got one of those tubs that like keeps the water warm, so it doesn't just turn into like a lukewarm soup of your own dead skin, which is essentially what a bath is. So you know she does not care. Good for her, I guess. And for that, I gotta give her D tier. Maude Apatow, who is the daughter of director and producer Judd Apatow, and her mother is Leslie Mann. I like Maude. She's very beautiful in like a beige way. Do you know what I mean? She looks like a pretty vintage doll that may or may not be haunted. Here's the thing. I think she's too early on in her career to really get a solid sense of her, because I think she is a good actress from what I've seen. It is a situation in which she's definitely getting a lot of opportunities at a young age because of her connections. I think she knows this on some level, and I'm like, well, if I was in her shoes, would I say no to the gigs? You know what I mean? And most people would obviously be taking those opportunities. So I can't blame her. I can't blame her for taking advantage of who her parents are. But as a result, I gotta put her in E tier. Let's see. Let's let her cook. I think she's trying to go in the directing route. She might end up like someone else who's a famous Nepo baby turned director who's very successful, and I like Willow and Jaden Smith. Look, I like Willow Smith, okay? I liked her since the Whip My Hair days. I think she had charisma. I think that she had spunk. I think she's gorgeous. Phenomenal bone structure. I like a lot of her recent music. It's very experimental. She has a nice voice. She kind of stays out of trouble. Like, you don't really hear anything about her. I like her. I do. You know what, Willow? I'm gonna give her B tier. Jaden Smith, I will say the era of him getting all of his like cringy tweets getting made fun of, even though he was like 13, 14, made me grateful that I was not famous when I was that young, because oh my gosh, the volumes that you could have filled up, hours of footage that you would have gotten of me doing stuff that was cringy and unbearable. Like, I gotta sympathize with the kid. And some of those tweets were bangers. Some of those tweets were genuinely funny, okay? Maybe not intentionally, but they tickled me. They made me chuckle. I would say that his artistic endeavors were not as entertaining. Personally, I like Willow sonically, but I don't hate him. Not everything is a competition, but if it is, Willow is winning. You know what? I'm putting him at D tier. He might do something crazy. I like his charitable works. However, as an artiste, I don't know. I'm feeling kind of neutral. D tier. You know what's crazy? I think that my favorite project of his was The Karate Kid. I actually liked him in that. I liked when he was able to do that little backflip. I liked his little cornrows. I said, go Jaden. I liked that at that age, we had the same build. I also had cornrows, and I also was prepubescent. Me and Jaden Smith in 2010 had the same exact silhouette and measurements. Lori Harvey, who is the daughter of Steve Harvey, or stepdaughter, or whatever. She's related to Steve Harvey. She's a model. She's a woman who I've heard speak maybe 5 years after I heard about her existence, which is kind of crazy. She's very beautiful. She's very glam. She's an influencer. I don't know. She does model, but I think not in like the traditional sense because she's too short. I'm genuinely neutral. Like, I think she's pretty enough to make a living off of her looks. I don't know anything about her. Right? I thought she was a mute for the first few years. You know what I mean? I thought that's so glamorous. I was about to say glam Helen Keller, but I don't think Helen Keller was mute. No, she was deaf and blind. No disrespect, Miss Keller. Wait, wasn't she also like a eugenicist? I hate this so much. I hate learning about history. I'm gonna put her at D tier. I'm pretty neutral towards her. Like, I genuinely feel nothing. I think that's how she likes it. Miley Cyrus, the daughter of Billy Ray Cyrus. I like Miley Cyrus. I love her voice. I think she has a great singing voice. I'm not a fan of all of her projects. All of her shenanigans, her weird light skin era was something. But now I think she's kind of settled into who she actually is. And she's an old soul. Her speaking voice is great. Her singing voice is fantastic. I love how like toned she is, you know what I mean? Whew, you know she can do a high kick like it's nobody's business. Listen, I've been a fan since Hannah Montana days. Back when she was in that phenomenal wig. Have you seen the coloring of that wig? It is gorgeous. I don't know who was doing the hair for it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, those highlights? Woo, beautiful. And I think Billy Ray Cyrus was getting the same exact highlights. You know what? I like her enough. I'm putting her in A tier, baby. Dakota Johnson, who is the daughter of Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson, who was in Miami Vice. He's also in like other things. Very interesting vibe, very mellow. I mean, I think she kind of gained a lot of favor because she was one of those people that like called Ellen out on her weird BS. As a performer, I don't think she has insane range. I do think she has a quiet presence that works. Once again, sometimes star quality isn't necessarily about being the best performer. It's about having that little something about you that's interesting. And I think her personality in real life also also makes her more appealing. As a performer, I'm fairly neutral towards her. She does remind me of somebody like Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson in the sense that they got their start via a vehicle that was detested, and you thought, I don't know how you are going to drag yourself up from this reputational low. And she managed to do it because people like her now. And I think maybe in a few years she might get into some projects that do give her a bit more critical acclaim, the way that maybe not on the same level as Robert Pattinson, but I think she's got a bit of potential. I'm putting Dakota Johnson on E tier. Margaret Qualley. She is the daughter of Andy McDowell. She got some acting chops on her. I saw her in The Substance. I liked her. I know she was really good in Maid. I think, you know what? She's talented. I can't really say anything else about her. I think she's gorgeous. Another great tooth gap. I like that she kept the gap. It makes her more beautiful. I'm gonna put her, B tier. She got an award. I'd clap. Maya Hawke. This is the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke. Again, has not been in a project, that like truly wowed me. I know she was in Stranger Things, but she's still fairly up and coming. I might put her in E tier for that. She's okay with being like a Nepo baby. To be fair, what is she supposed to do about it? She seems like a nice person. I don't have anything against her. I got E tier. Give her some time to cook. Olivia Jade, the daughter of Lori Loughlin, the woman from Full House. Pretty girl, is an influencer / model. You obviously know her from the college admissions scandal and rich parents basically buying their children's admission into schools, which is still happening, by the way. And she seemed wildly unapologetic about it. This is what happens when you live in a world where you don't really have to deal with the consequences of your actions. Career-wise, I don't think she's ever gonna make a comeback from this. I could be wrong though, because the world has rewarded worse people. We're putting her in F tier. What did you expect? Tracy Ellis Ross, the daughter of Diana Ross. Such a ray of sunshine. She has such like a fun aunt quality to her. I like her as a performer, and as a comedian. I just like her as a person. Like, she just has a warmth that radiates from her. I like this lady. Performance-wise, I don't know if I've seen her in a project, again, that absolutely wowed me. I think she could turn in a performance, but I'm not gonna give her E tier. I would never disrespect her like that. Again, this is a biased list, okay? It's my list. It's my list. I get to set the arbitrary criteria. I'm putting her in A tier. John David Washington. He's the son of Denzel Washington. A talented man. I've seen some of his performances, and I do think that he probably could do an Oscar-winning performance in the future. Never been in anything that genuinely wowed me. He's also, personality-wise, neutral. I don't know if I would say that he has the je ne sais quoi that his father had, but I can't hate on him. I gotta give him, you know what? I might give him a B tier. I think he's a solid enough performer. I'm giving him a B tier. Liza Minnelli, the daughter of icon Judy Garland and Vincent Minnelli, I believe is also her father, who, well, also successful in his own right as a composer and musician. I mean, Liza, yeah! I like Liza Minnelli. She's got spunk. She's talented. I know that even at her age, she can still do kicks and flips. She's got a fun personality. This is the one of me. Personality takes you such a long way. Like, talent alone can get you to a place where people genuinely like you, but the personality on top of it, okay, that's a sandwich. That's what makes someone iconic.
Look at me.
Hell of a piece. Gee, I couldn't possibly. Oh, no, I couldn't apparently.
Me neither.
I might have to give her S tier. Okay, and finally, Bill and Alexander Skarsgård. They are the sons of actor Stellan Skarsgård. You've probably seen in several things. I remember him because he was in Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it was Curse of the Black Pearl. He played Orlando Bloom's daddy. Anyway, interesting actor. I'd say both of them, very talented. Especially Bill has gotten to shine the past few years as Pennywise, but also he's been working the indie circuit. Alexander was introduced to me in Zoolander when he played one of Zoolander's dumb model friends. He fit the role perfectly. But then in Big Little Lies, I was like, oh, you kind of scary in a waspy kind of way. So these boys, they got acting chops. I might give them A tier because of the fact that not only do they have acting chops, they do have a single performance where I was like, oh, okay, I see why you won awards for this. I'm gonna give them A tier. This is not an exhaustive list. Frankly, I had to cap it because it was getting a little too long. So if you want me to do a part 2 to this and you want me to rank Nepo babies, list them down below. If you want me to do another tier list video, I would love to do it. They're very fun. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know every time that I upload. And as always, thank you for watching. Shout out to my top patrons. If you would like to donate to my Patreon, then please click on the link in the description or down below. Thank you to my other lovely patrons. Your names should be scrolling on screen as I speak. Bye.